Williams.
And I'm Billy Thomas.
And welcome to another edition of From the Woods Today. I'm really excited because, spring has, it sprung, but then it kind of went back to winter, but it'll come back.
More like a sprung.
A sprung, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's
Exactly.
great to have you all with us today. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your all busy schedules to be with us on another edition of From the Woods Today. I'm excited to be with you. We've got some great speakers today, Renee. It's always wonderful to have Mr. Eric Comley with us.
Yeah.
As you may recall, Eric is our Garrard County 4-H agent, but he's also a native plant guru and a great photographer.
Awesome photographer.
He really is a good photographer, and I think we'll benefit from both his knowledge and his skill set today. He's going to be talking about some of Kentucky's native plants, and always great to have Eric on here. We also have Laurie Thomas with another fresh edition of or Tree of the Week, if you will, and we'll reserve that. We're going to let Laurie tell you what that is here in a minute, but it's a really cool tree. And we have Miss Franny Preston on talking about forestry works. They've been making a lot of progress with that program, and there may be a lot of students out there who could benefit from that. So if you all know some youth, make sure you stick around for Franny's presentation talking about forestry work. So great show today. I'm glad you all are with us. If you have any questions or comments for our guests, please use the chat function via Zoom. And if you're a YouTube or a podcast listener, you can hit us up via email at forestry.extension@uky.edu, and we can respond to you that way. But Renee, wonderful being with you today on this beautiful day in April.
Definitely. Hey, at least it's not raining, right?
It's chilly, yes.
It's chilly, but at least it's not raining. So we'll take it. So let's go ahead and get started then. So Lori, if you want to turn your camera on. Welcome to the show again. We greatly appreciate every time you're on to learn about a new tree, and tell us a little bit about what tree we're talking about this morning.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about dogwoods again. We've done flowering dogwoods so far, and we do have numerous native dogwoods in the state. And so today we're going to I'm going to share with you a little bit of information about our roughleaf dogwood, which is one that we don't find throughout the state. It is more of a north central part of the state. We find it there, but it's a great little, it's a small tree, can be considered a shrub, can be multi-stem, but it's a great wildlife tree too. So yeah, enjoy. Here's roughleaf dogwood.
Yes, I'll get her going.
I'm Laurie Thomas with the University of Kentucky Forestry and Natural Resources Extension, and I'm here with the Tree of the Week, the roughleaf dogwood. Cornus drumondii, commonly known as roughleaf dogwood, is a small deciduous tree in the Cornaceae or the dogwood family. It's also been called Drummond's dogwood. A small tree that grows 15 to 30 feet tall with a crown spread of about 10 to 15 feet. Roughleaf dogwood looks similar to red osier dogwood and gray dogwood and is one of the 8 dogwoods native to Kentucky. In a forested setting, it's not common, but when it is found, it's usually along the forest edge. Roughleaf dogwood is used as an ornamental tree because of its ability to survive with little care once it's mature and because of its tolerance to pests, low water requirements, and shade tolerance. It commonly forms thickets that are used for cover by wildlife, and over 40 different species of birds are known to eat the fruit. Roughleaf dogwood's native range is from southeast Canada to central and east central parts of the United States. It is found in the north central part of Kentucky. In the wild, it's found growing around swamps, marshes, wet to dry woods, and thickets, and unlike many other dogwoods, it is very adaptable and can grow in a multitude of conditions. It grows well in full sun as well as partial shade. Roughleaf dogwood grows so quickly and it suckers and forms thickets, so it may be best used in naturalized areas versus a lawn or garden setting. It may also be used to help stabilize banks and provide erosion control. The leaves of roughleaf dogwood are deciduous, simple in form, and oppositely arranged on the twig. The leaf is about 2.5 to 5 inches long, ovate to elliptical with entire margins. The leaves have distinctive arcuate venation, meaning the leaf veins are shaped like a bow, curving from the base of the leaf to the tip. They are green above and lighter below in color. Both the top and undersides of the leaves are covered with rough hair, and the underside is even coarser than the top side. Autumn leaf color varies from a showy reds to purples. The species is monoecious, meaning a tree has both male and female reproductive structures. The flowers are small, up to 3 inches across, and grouped in flat-topped clusters. They are creamy white and typically have 4 small pointed petals. The flowers bloom in late spring into summer and are pollinated by bees and butterflies. The fruits are berry-like drupes that are in flat-topped clusters. Each drupe is about 1/4 of an inch in diameter. The drupes are white and mature in late summer to autumn and are very showy against the colorful autumn leaves. The fruit is a favorite of many birds and numerous mammals that are responsible for seed dispersal. The bark is smooth and gray-brown initially when the tree is younger, but as it ages, the bark becomes flaky and blocky. As with other dogwoods, the wood of this species is heavy, strong, and durable. Trees aren't large enough to produce boards, but the wood of this and other dogwoods has been used for small woodenware articles, such as chisel handles, mallet heads, small pulleys and wheels, spindles, and shuttle blocks. Dogwood as a genus is an important wildlife tree. It's estimated that over 40 species of birds, including mockingbirds, bluebirds, cardinals, kinglets, flycatchers, and yellow-rumped warblers, eat the fruit of roughleaf dogwood. Other fruit-eating mammals feast on the fruit as well, including raccoons, squirrels, deer, rabbits, skunks, and black bears. The flowers and their nectar attract butterflies, bees, and moths, and a variety of wildlife browse the foliage or use this thicket-forming tree as a nesting site and for shelter. The national champion roughleaf dogwood as of 2023 is in Tunica, Mississippi. It's 39 inches in circumference, 30 feet tall, with a 34-foot crown spread, and there currently is not a champion tree listed for Kentucky. If you'd like to learn more about champion trees, check out the National Champion Tree Program.org or check out the Kentucky Division of Forestry. Now for a few fun facts about roughleaf dogwood. In the 1800s, the textile industry shifted from hand shuttling to mechanized looms, and shuttles made from dogwood were ideal since the wood was strong enough for the machinery's wear and tear. Native Americans and pioneers knew of the shrub's antibiotic properties and used various parts of the plant, including bark, leaves, and fruit, in a variety of ways to treat several different conditions. The genus name Cornus is from the Latin word cornu, which means horn, and likely refers to the tree's dense wood. The specific epithet Drummondii is for the Scottish naturalist Thomas Drummond, who collected plant specimens in the United States between 1820s and 1830s. Thanks for joining me to learn about the roughleaf dogwood.
Well, that was really neat. I really liked that. I didn't know that dogwood existed, but that red color is beautiful fall color.
It is, and with the white berries, it makes a really lovely contrast. It's very nice. It is, as I said though, it is thicket forming, and if it's something you're thinking about, and you know, I know there's a lot of people looking at gardening for the birds and adding things to your yards or your landscape. It is one that you want to think of as a more naturalized setting, because it is thicket forming and it will spread. So, but it is a great wildlife tree where, you know, because of the thicket, it's great habitat and shelter, and then the fruit as well. So
Wood's great, no backyard.
yeah, right. Or if you have a really big backyard and you would like a little screening in there, it might be a really nice one. So
well,
certainly better than our calorie pear that we talked about last week.
absolutely, absolutely.
True,
Good native alternatives. Laurie, I always appreciate those segments. And it's always fascinating to me that we have derived and used plants for medicine for so long, right? And all those examples that just keep popping up all the time.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Dr. Gwen Henderson, as she said that, you know, at one time our drugstore was the woods. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So great job. Really appreciate all your trees of the week. Yeah. And I would encourage everybody, we've got the giant group that Laurie's done over the years on our Common Trees of Kentucky. You can go back and watch all those individual videos. She's also on most of our, or many of our, From the Woods Today episodes. So again, thanks, Laurie. Appreciate you very much.
Take care.
All right.
Cool.
now
Learning
we're
about
gonna
trees.
be-
Yeah.
yes. Now we're going to be moving on to native
I
plants.
know it's always so awesome to have Eric Comley on here. Eric wears so many hats for us here in Extension. 4-H agent by day, plant naturalist, photographer by day, night, weekend. I mean, he's awesome.
Right.
Eric, let us come join us if you can. We'd love to chat with you for a second before you get your show started.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. We greatly appreciate you being on. And I'm assuming that probably most of the pictures we're going to see you took yourself, if not all.
Yeah, all the photographs are mine. So
Awesome.
I can't promise that they're good, but I promise that they're mine.
Yeah.
I know
I'm
they're
sure they'll be
good.
good. We've seen your work before, Eric. So
Yeah.
all right. All right. Well, Eric, again, thank you for being with us today. It's a great time to talk about native plants as always. So yeah, there's a lot out there happening with them.
Yeah. Appreciate you joining us, and you can go ahead and start your presentation.
All right. So once again, thank you all for having me. I sure do appreciate it. And I'm hoping that my internet will hold on here as long as it possibly can. So my name is Eric Comley. I'm the Garrard County 4-H Youth Development Agent. And as far as my background is concerned, it's, all of my earlier education, my bachelor's degree was in literature, and then I went on to study biology at EKU, but transitioned into the rec program, and just as a hobbyist and as an amateur naturalist, kind of stuck with plants. That was my focus in biology as well. But I hope that you all enjoy the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My email address is eric.comley, COMLEY @uky.edu, or you can reach me here at the Garrard County Extension Office at 859-792-3026. So first off, I always want to talk about Kentucky. I mean, if we're going to do any kind of show about Kentucky, you should really know that just how incredible and special our state is. We have 3,000 different species of plants in Kentucky. About 2,700 of those are native plants. And some of those 300 are both non-native invasive and non-native naturalized. And so we have a wide variety of plants. And because we are so richly diverse in plants, there has to be a reason why, of course. And that reason is generally the variation in availability of water, of which I'm sure that everybody is aware that over the last week, we've had plenty of water. And the water that we're talking about is that moving water. We've seen the estimations are somewhere between 87 and 92,000 miles of creeks, rivers, and streams in Kentucky. And then, of course, we have still water with all of our man-made lakes, Lake Cumberland, Dale Hollow Lake, all of our lakes in Kentucky. And then the amount of falling water that we have in Kentucky, whether that be our snow accumulations in the wintertime or the amount of rain that we have throughout the year as well. And then once you get into the quality and the diversity of our soil profiles, which all comes back to our geology in Kentucky, and then the topography, ranging all the way from eastern Kentucky at Black Mountain, our highest point, which is just a touch under 4,200 feet above sea level, and then down at the Mississippi River, where we're just, I think, a little bit above 250 feet. I think it's like 254 feet above sea level at the Mississippi River. But with that broad span of topography, it makes it extremely unique when we're talking about different habitat and microhabitat profiles for plants. And then obviously there you see the variation habitats, and that's forests and open fields and remnant prairies and wet fields, and that can go on and on and on. And there's all kinds of specialized habitats that we have stretching all the way across the state, from Black Mountain, where we have some boggy areas, mountaintop boggy areas, down into Western Kentucky where we see some of those cypress tree areas and just beautiful spots in Kentucky. So it's really just a beautiful spot all the way across. What can you do at this time? And we're talking about native plants this is when you, especially, coming out of the season, if any of you all suffer from seasonal affective disorder, which I do sometimes, but is that be a scientist. Just get out and be a passive, lazy, meandering scientist, just like it says there. And simply what that is just get out and explore and look around, spend some time outside, get some fresh air in your lungs, and just be that person that's interested in what it is that you're looking at. Right now, April 5th through the 13th, the Kentucky Native Plant Society, which I highly encourage that you get involved in if you're not already. They have an annual Bio Blitz on the iNaturalist app, or you can actually get on, there's a website for it as well. But you can go on there and log in all of the things that you see, take some pictures with your phone. It'll geotag those pictures. If you want it to do that, it also gives you an option to essentially ghost those so that you're not showing people where all these flowers are found. But that's a great opportunity to contribute back with, if you're just interested in being out and hiking and looking at plants, that's a great opportunity. And then your local parks, your state parks, any of your natural areas are going to be great. And then if you have property, even in your own yard, if you have access to natural areas, then get out and look for those as well. The benefits, and these are just a couple of articles, and I'll send the presentation out to Billy and Renee. But the top one there is talking about kids and about the benefits of kids. And these are, it was just a simple Google search of University of Kentucky and benefits of being outside. And I could have stuck with just benefits of being outside, but we're, a research-based institution. And so we've done the research even in our backyards here, and these are some of the things that we came up with. So, kids benefit from being outside. I think that's evident. You take kids outside, and every parent says go and run and tire out, hopefully. So let kids get outside. If you have the chance to go hiking with them, this is when you can pass on that information about what it is that you're seeing out there. And then the bottom article there is about military personnel and our first responders that get out and spend time outside. I have the opportunity to work with the Nature Reliance School with Craig Caudle, and we just did a program at Camp Hero talking about native trees and plants. And so those opportunities to get out and the benefits of being outside and seeing plants are well documented, well researched. And so if you need an excuse, just say research says so. So this is also the time that a lot of people will get out. This is not only spring wildflower season when people are getting out just to look, but it's also a time for people to get out and they'll forage. Right before Laurie got off and was talking about roughleaf dogwood, she was talking about, medicinal plants as well. So we have wild edibles and medicinal plants, and all of those opportunities exist out there. I strongly encourage you, though, to do your own research and to get published, reputable resources when you are going to do those kinds of things, because it can, you want to make sure that you're asking and looking at the right resources before you go out and do those kinds of things. And then the photography opportunities abound. I mean, I love being outside and taking pictures and laying around looking at flowers and looking at all the things that are moving around flowers. And then sketching and painting. If you get out and you're not much of a cell phone person that's going to get out and take pictures and do that kind of thing, then sketching and painting, those are opportunities for you to build your own kind of naturalist journal profile so that you can, look back and make details, write notes about the things that you see. so that you can reflect back on and even have locations for those things that you want to get out and see again in the future. So the one that's on the right there, that's Carolina Spring Beauty. It's different than our common spring beauty. If you see the leaves in the background, they're a little bit wider, and so the common spring beauty is more grass-like, and the Carolina spring beauty, which is also called broadleaf spring beauty, it has those wider leaves and that's one distinction between the two. It also has an edible corm, which is called fairy spuds, and you can eat them raw, but you would prefer to eat them cooked. So you can either bake them or boil them, and they have a potato-like flavor to them. So what should we expect? And this is the season now where, the canopy is open because leaves haven't fully come in yet. And so over the kind of the next, 2 to 6 weeks is when you're going to see the most as far as spring wildflowers are concerned. Your colors are typically going to be white, pink, reds, but it's not limited to that. You'll see all kinds of things, all kinds of colors and shades and everything else that'll be on the forest floor. So let's take a look at what we might see out there. So our trilliums, the two that you see on the left, the top one, that's just our red trillium. It's also called Stinking Benjamin. It does have kind of a rotted meat type flavor or smell to it. Not flavor, I've never eaten it, but a rotted meat smell to it. And that's primarily to attract flies and other things that might come and pollinate. And then the bottom one, that's large white trillium. Both of these are really common in in kind of moist woods, but they're just beautiful. These are 2 of 12 different species that we have in Kentucky, and obviously there's going to be some differentiation from one side of the state to the other. So we have a prairie trillium that's found in the western part of the state, Trillium recurvatum, and then we have sessile trillium that's found in the eastern part of the state. Or central and eastern part of the state, and a lot of people will get those confused. But we do have these different species in Kentucky. Seeds are distributed and planted by myrmecoccary, which is by ants. So the fruit has this elaiosome or this kind of candy coating on it. The ants will eat that off, and then they deposit the seed, and then the seeds grow from there. So really just an incredible process. And then the stalked or sessile, these are the 2 different types. The 2 that you see there are both stalked, which means that they have what is called a pedicel that's right behind the flower there, and which stalks up from those bracts, those big leafy things. Those are bracts. And but then there are some that attach directly to. Yellow trillium does that. Sessile trillium, which I talked about, and prairie is another one that will do that as well. And then down there, if you really want to get into some serious nerd stuff, there's if you want to look at floral formulas, you can look at that as well. The poppy family, a couple of these are recent additions into the poppy family. They used to be in the fumitory family. The squirrel corn, which is the one there on the right, and then Dutchman's breeches, which is the one on the left. Those used to be in the fumitory family or Fumariaceae. And then bloodroot, which is in the middle there, has always been in that poppy family. But they're all low growing. Flowers are only really available for just a few days. Bloodroot may actually already have come and gone. You'll find the leaves all over the place, which are those weird looking leaves behind the flower in the middle there. But you'll see them, but you may not see the flower. So if you find a flower still hanging on, then you're pretty lucky, because that flower really goes away pretty quickly. But just a beautiful family. There's others that are in this one, bleeding hearts. If you've seen those, they look very similar to squirrel corn, but they have a kind of a pinkish color. We have those in Kentucky, but they're pretty rare. We see them mostly kind of in the mountains. So if you get over to the Great Smoky Mountains, you may see them a little bit more often. And you can see why Dutchman's breeches is called Dutchman's breeches, because it looks like pants that are hung upside down there on the left. Bloodroot, if you dig up the root, it has an alkaline chemical in it, and it looks very, if you cut into the root, looks very bloody. And then on the right, squirrel corn, if you dig up the actual roots or corms of the plant, looks like two pieces of corn. So that's why they're called those things. And those are the things that I think are the most fascinating about native plants, is to be able to get in and look at not only the plant, but also kind of research the etymology or the word history of it, and then some of those cool fun facts about maybe medicinal uses or edible, potential edible. All of those I think are potential, but all of those cool things that go along with it, Native American history, the ethnobotany of it. It's just, there's a lot of fascinating history that goes along with each of our native plants. The Indian pipe family. So the one that's the top there, that's pine sap, Monotropa hypopithys, and you won't see this one probably until late June, going into July and August. And they're saprophytic, which means that they feed on decaying matter. But they are also mycoheterotrophic, which means that they actually feed on a specialized fungus on the roots of certain trees. And so that's how kind of specialized they are. So when you do find them, just understand how specialized they are. This is also the family that you would find ghost pipe in, or Indian pipe, which is it's a bright white flower or plant. And you'll see those usually later in the summer as well. The one on the bottom there is sweet pine sap, which is a threatened species in Kentucky, and it is currently in bloom. The ones that you see there, I took pictures of yesterday, and I didn't see it, but when I walked through, I smelled it, and that's how I was able to figure out that it was there. So I lay down, looked around, and you can see that thing behind you or behind the flower. That's 1 inch. So that one's about 1.5 inches tall. So they're tiny little flowers, but so beautiful, and the smell is wonderful. I was pretty lucky that there was a family that was coming by, and I was able to talk to them about that. I'm sure that they thought, chubby guy laying on the ground, and the mom did ask me, "Are you okay?" She thought that I just died on the side of the trail, but luckily I had not. So, but this is the Indian pipe family. The saxifrage family, usually found in moist woods, are very common, very easily overlooked though because they're so small. The foam flower, which is the one on the left, and then on the one on the right is bishop's cap. It's also called mitrewort, and just incredible plants. And you can see the detail, especially in the bishop's cap, of just how specialized those flowers are. And we have 10 representative genera in Kentucky from that family. One, like the early saxifrage, probably came out in March and is probably already gone, but we have other representatives that you would find now, including the 2 that you see there. The orchid family, I mean, this is by far my favorite family, only because they're just amazing, beautiful, really showy flowers. And I mean, they're obviously great for photography, but they're just incredible. So this is the largest family of the world, around 30,000 different species, and it rivals the aster family as having the most. But we have 19 different genera, about 50 different species in Kentucky, with 50% of those considered rare. And that has everything to do with the fact that habitat and there's really specialized growing conditions. They are also, they require a mycorrhizal or fungal relationship. Each one has a unique fungal relationship in order for it to be able to grow. So just incredible. The one in the top left, those are ladies' tresses or spiranthus. The one top right, that's our pink lady slipper, of which we have pinks, yellow, large yellow, small yellow, white, Kentucky lady slipper. Those are the 5 that I can think of. And they're just absolutely stunning to see. And you can find them throughout Kentucky, but mostly you're going to find those in central and eastern Kentucky. The monkey-faced orchid, Platanthera integralabia, which is in the bottom left-hand corner, that's a federally endangered species, also found in Kentucky. That's a terrible photograph. I apologize. And then the one on the right is world begonia and large world begonia, and just a gorgeous flower. And that one was, you can find that one in the gorge in eastern Kentucky. So it's not common, but it is a beautiful flower. And then the large yellow lady slipper. This one is probably the easiest to grow if you're a gardener, but it's the least likely one that you'll find, or not the least likely, but it's harder to grow in the woods. It's easier to grow in a garden, harder to grow in the woods. But I would make sure that if you're going to buy any native species of orchid, that you go to a reputable seller of those, because you can get into some situations where people are going out, taking those out of the woods to then sell them. And that's just a terrible practice. And so if you find that that's happening, please let people know to avoid that seller. But the cup-like thing that you see there are fused petals. The next family or the group is the trout lily or dogtooth violets. This is erythroniums, and we have 4 different species in Kentucky, and they will absolutely cover hillsides. So this is what you'll see a lot of. It almost looks like grass on a hillside that normally doesn't have grass, and that's all of those trout lilies that are there. They are nyctinasty, which means that they react to or open up for the sun. They're not heliotrophic. They're not like a sunflower. They won't follow the sun, but they do open up with the sun. And you can see the 4 species that are listed there that we have in Kentucky. Yellow and whites are going to be the most common. The beaked trout lily I've seen before, but I've never seen dimpled trout lily. And I think it's only I'm not sure where it's found, but I think it's only been described in a book. I don't know that we've seen it. Maybe somebody from state nature preserves will be able to confirm or deny whether we have that one in Kentucky. So as far as you getting out, these are some places that I would recommend, not necessarily the Office of Kentucky Nature Preserves, but just going to that website and looking at some of the publicly accessible preserves. There are some that are not, or have to, or require appointment, but you can get on that website and actually look at those different facilities and see what's available to you. But that should say Red River Gorge. I apologize for that. Didn't catch that one. Carter Cave State Resort Park, I think, is the site of this year's Wildflower Weekend. So if you want a whole weekend of that, you can, I think, register for the Wildflower Weekend. Mammoth Cave National Park is gorgeous. Plenty of hiking trails to get out and see, and all kinds of cool things that you would find there. The Big South Fork, I recommend Yahoo Falls and Princess Falls hiking trails if you really want to see some cool wildflowers. And then Cumberland Falls State Resort Park, just absolutely amazing. You'll find pink lady slippers there. You'll see yellow lady slippers there. And so just gorgeous. And then as you get into the western part of the state, Pennyroyal State Park has some beautiful trails with some really cool things that grow on them. And then Hematite Lake as well, if you want to take a good walk around there, but be careful because you might see some snakes as well. So a few resources as I kind of wrap up here is the book on the left there, Wildflowers of Tennessee and the Ohio Valley, Southern Appalachians, is a great book. Tavia Cathcart is a fantastic naturalist. She is at one of the preserves, or one of the she's at one of the facilities in Kentucky, and I cannot remember. I have to look it up. I've got the book here with me. But that book is absolutely perfect. I mean, it's got great photographs, it's got great descriptions, and always has some really cool information about the plant, whether it's, the ethnobotany, whether it's medicinal stuff, whether it's like historical Native American things. Really just cool cool book. The Naturalist Book of Wildflowers is great. And then Dr. Barnes, his book, Wildflowers and Ferns of Kentucky, and he has multiple books. And there's another one that's on here. Wildflowers and Ferns of Kentucky is a great field guide for you to go out and see some of the more common things. It does have some of our rare or threatened plants that are in there. He also has one of finding and photographing wildflowers in Kentucky. That's a great book as well if you're interested to go out and find specific wildflowers to photograph if you are a photographer. But any of Dr. Barnes' books are really well done. He was a tremendous naturalist, biologist, and a really talented photographer. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get a frog inside of a Kentucky lady slipper like on the cover of that book. I have not figured it out yet. But and then if you just want to carry around something very heavy, Plant Life of Kentucky is great. It is a giant key to nearly every plant that we find in Kentucky. Dr. Jones, who is Professor Emeritus at Eastern Kentucky University, he was one of my graduate advisors. That book is fantastic. It is not a carry around and look at book, but it's one that it is a heavy dichotomous key. So if you want to key something out, that's the book that I would go to. But it's heavy in vocabulary. The one in the middle there, Sam Thayer's Field Guide to Edible Wild Plants, that's fairly new. I think in the last couple of years that one came out, and it's a great book too. Great descriptions, great photographs, and some interesting information. And then The Trees and Shrubs of Kentucky, Mary Wharton and Roger Barber. That book, I think this is, I don't even know how many prints this one is, but always a great book. And, by learning some of your trees, your canopy plants, you're also going to be able to tell or find some of the things that you would kind of expect in areas around that. That the trees are going to tell you maybe what the soil type is. The soil type will then tell you what else you may be able to expect to find in those particular areas. So those are some resources that I would recommend. But I'll turn my video on. So, but those are some of the resources, but there's a ton of them out there. The one thing I would say about all resources is that the more localized resources you get, the better your experience is going to be. So if, there's like Wildflowers of North America, that sounds fantastic until you're looking at the book and you flip through 10 pages of things that you find in, Yosemite National Park. That's not really going to help you. So specialize your resources a little bit. That's why Dr. Barnes' books are so good. The one that's the Tennessee Valley or the Tennessee book, that's a great one because Kentucky and Tennessee do share a lot of species there. There's some things that you're going to find because of elevation in the Smoky Mountains that you may not find in Kentucky, and then the presence of some habitat types as well. If you look at maps of like a skunk cabbage, I think is found in all the states around us. Same thing with pitcher plants. Pitcher plants found in all the states around us, not in Kentucky, or we haven't found them in Kentucky yet. We'll keep looking though, I'm sure. So
yeah, there's a lot of comments in about places to go and wildflower walks and things like that. So if you want to check those out, you can. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I want to know if you're available as a carry around resource.
If especially this season, if I'm around, I would love to go out and walk around, especially in areas that I don't get to see very often. But and Tavia is at Creasy Man, yes. So
do you ever do walks?
Actually, I had a wildflower walk that was scheduled for this Sunday at our local park, Logan Hubble Park. And then the rains came and nearly washed away the whole park. So But it's a beautiful place. It's just there had to be some road repair that was done there, so we're going to have to cancel that one.
Mhm.
But like I cannot stress to you enough. The nature preserve has put out several walks. I know that the wildflower weekend is coming up at, like I said, at Carter Caves.
Mhm.
Take those opportunities, and then if you're a social media person, the Kentucky Native Plant Society, they have a great page. You can put just about anything on there, and there's going to be maybe not me, but some other nerd that's going to be on there, and they're going to be the ones that they'll identify everything, or at least they'll argue about what it is that you're taking a look at. So clear
Yeah.
pictures and clear pictures and postings, and you'll get your questions answered.
Wonderful.
Yeah, great stuff, Eric.
Yeah.
As always, you're so inspiring, and you make us all want to get out there. And it looks like our viewers are all excited too about getting out as well. So, yeah,
All the pictures are just
yeah,
amazing. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
It's awesome, man.
Awesome.
Really appreciate your time, your expertise, and your
Mhm.
dedication to this stuff, because a lot of people share those interests, Eric. So thank you, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
thank
sure
you. I appreciate it.
you could fill up a walk with no problem whatsoever
I
if you ever
know, I
decided to
know,
have some.
I know. Everybody wants to hang out with Eric. He's awesome, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, good stuff. Really good.
So moving on, we also have Franny going to be coming on and talk a little bit about a program for students.
Yeah, so we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk now about the Forestry Works program, which I'm really excited to share with everyone. So again, my name is, can you see my screen?
Yes, gotcha.
Okay. My name is Franny Preston, and I'm the Forestry Works Kentucky coordinator of the Forest Worker Certificate Program. So that's a big mouthful, but I want to go ahead and introduce the program, and it is a forestry curriculum program for high schoolers. So I'll give a background of forestry in Kentucky. So forestry is the largest agricultural sector in the state. Our new economic report just was released, and forestry contributes $19.1 billion annually from the state, and it employs almost 60,000 Kentuckians. So I just wanted to throw those three facts at you just to show you how important forestry is in the state. However, the workforce for forestry is decreasing, not just in Kentucky, but within the Southeast and within the U.S. So the average logger age in Kentucky is 57 years old. There is a lot of generational retirement happening as people move out of these forestry careers, and there is a lack of people replacing them. So there's a few reasons for that. One of which is that a lot of people in the next generation don't even know that forestry careers exist. So there are recruitment and retaining issues. And then, of course, along with that, there's a skills gap, because if people don't know that there's forestry careers, they don't know they need to be gaining skills that they can use in a forestry career. So to mitigate these problems, forestry work was created, and it was started actually in Alabama a few years ago, and it now includes 10 states. So Forestry Works, it's a multi-state organization, and we started it in Kentucky last year. So we did a pilot program last year, and then this year we've been really able to kick things off and get things started. So the Forest Worker Certificate Program is the program that we have in Kentucky, and it introduces high school students to forestry careers. It introduces them to forestry in general, and then it prepares them for entering a forestry career, and it connects them with forestry industries and forestry professionals within the state. And the format of it is that teachers are trained. So this is mainly for ag teachers or any other teachers that are working in the vocational program in their school, but some environmental science teachers are interested as well. So the teachers go through a training. There's 10 different training modules that I'll show you in a minute. The teachers go through this training, they take an exam, and then they are certified to teach forestry works in their classroom. And then they are able to train as many students as they can, and so many students that are interested in forestry works. And then the students go through the same training modules, they take an exam, and they are considered certified forest workers. So along with the training modules, We are also going to have some field days later in the summer and later in the year where teachers and students can go spend a day with a forestry professional, hopefully in a forest industry. So here are the 10 modules, training modules as part of the program. So you can see the program covers everything from forest ecosystems all the way to wood products manufacturing. These 10 modules are each included with a presenter from a forestry professional in Kentucky. So we've got a recorded presentation for them. And then there's also some supplemental resources as well. That way the teachers and the students are really well versed in each of these topics. Along with the training modules and resources is this really great workbook. It's a full textbook that students can use along with their modules. And after the students complete the training, they are given this certificate, and this certificate looks really great on applications, it looks really great on resumes, but more importantly, it gives the students an idea that they are certified and they know what they're talking about with forestry. So I wanted to point out that this program is approved through the Kentucky Department of Education to be taught in classrooms. It is also industry recognized, not just in Kentucky, but in every state that it's used in. It is included in the Pathways program, and the certificate is valid for 5 years. So here is a map of where our certified or teachers currently in training are located. So you can see we've got quite a few. We've got about 20 teachers that have signed up for training just this year, and then 6 who did it in the pilot training last year. And our first teacher actually just completed the training as of this week for this year. So our goal is to get this in 120 schools at least, and one in each county. So if you all know a high school teacher or you are a high school teacher who is interested in this, please reach out. And then along with the training, we also have a really great opportunity for students this summer, the Forestry Works Field Course. So this will be a week-long course, again, for high school students, and this will go through the Forestry Works training program in the most immersive way possible. And this is going to be at UK's Robinson Forest and Robinson Wood Utilization Center. So if you know any high school students who you think might be interested in exploring the world of forestry, please have them sign up for this. And one other thing I wanted to mention is that there is a job board for Forestry Works. And the other states already have some jobs listed, but since we just got this started in Kentucky, we're looking for forest industries to promote their jobs on the Forestry Works job board. That way we can show these students where they can get jobs, and also they can make their connections if they're ready to graduate. All right, so I appreciate you all learning about Forestry Works Forest Worker Certificate Program today. I've got my email listed there, and if you all have any questions, please feel free to reach out as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
You know,
good stuff.
Franny has a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things, so you're working on this program just enhances that, and we appreciate you doing it.
Thanks, Renee. It's a really great opportunity, and it benefits everyone. It benefits the students, it benefits the teachers, and it's going to benefit the forest industry as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Franny, great work, a good team effort on this thing for sure. And I'll encourage all of our viewers or listeners, if you all know youth that might benefit from this, or teachers who may be unaware of this opportunity, please help us spread the word, right?
Definitely.
The more people that know about this, the more people can take advantage of it. And even if these students don't go on to have careers in forestry or wildlife or whatever, they're going to be much more knowledgeable about how important and valuable our natural resources are. So you're making better citizens as well with the program. So great work, Franny, and Chad and Laurie. Appreciate all they do as well. But good work leading that effort. Yes, help her out, people.
Yeah, help her out. Let all those high school students and teachers know
Yes.
about this program.
Yes, we need more in it for sure.
Definitely. Thank you, Franny, again for presenting today.
We'll have you back before too long, Franny, for sure.
Now she knows that.
Thanks, Franny.
All right. right. Awesome
Um,
show. I told you at the beginning it was going to be an awesome show, and it was, talking about native plants and the Forestry Works program, and they had a new tree of the week. It's just amazing, all the great knowledge that we have, people coming to this show. I just love it.
I know, but Renee, without our viewers, it wouldn't matter.
Exactly.
And without you all out there
Mhm.
helping spread the word and being engaged, it wouldn't matter what we were doing. So thank you all for being part of From the
Mhm.
Woods today, and please help us grow this audience. There's a lot of people out there we think could benefit and would appreciate some of this information. So if you know of them, let them know about From the Woods today. And as we said before, always let us know if there's something you want to see. If you're experiencing something on your own property, there's a good chance others are as well. So let's all learn together and let us know.
Definitely, and someone was asking about, how can I see past shows? So you go to fromthewoodstoday.com, and every show we've ever done is on there. And so you can do a search and find anything that you're interested in, and they'll be right there at your fingertips. And then you can binge watch us for, probably months if you wanted
And
to.
then when you're done binge watching, go do good stuff with it, right? That's the goal,
Exactly.
is that we're going to make our resources out there better, healthier, and more productive. But it's going to take all of us. So, yeah. So not
Exactly.
only watch, but use the knowledge that you gain from this show.
Definitely. And speaking of that, so we are having a little survey at the end of the show when we end our webinar. Something will pop up, and we would really appreciate it if you would fill those out. If you want to get reminders about the show, put your email address in there and tell me if you want it 1 hour or a couple of days beforehand. We do both. Greatly would appreciate you all doing that and answering some of those questions at the end. We're trying to get some more feedback on some information for show topics, just like what you might see in your woods.
Exactly. So helps out.
Helps out. All right. So we will see you all next week. Thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Take
Thank you
care.
all. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
From the woods today. From the woods today.